नाथ स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सकगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादि राधि गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम हरे कृष्ण by Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy we are in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, so that is contents of the Gita summarized. So in this chapter we are studying very important shlokas about ourself, about Atma. Krishna is explaining very scientifically, Krishna is explaining about Atma, that we are not this body, we are the soul, but we need to realize that, we need to understand, scientifically we should be able to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul. That is the main thing. So in this chapter, in this sloka number 11 to 30th in the second chapter, Krishna is very, very clearly explaining about all these things. We are not the body, we are the soul. So last week we were studying about the properties of the soul. The properties of the soul we were studying. So Krishna was telling that the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be moistened by water. It cannot be withered by wind. So the soul, basically the matter, the material things cannot do anything to the soul. So we understand very clearly that from Bhagavad Gita, the soul is a spirit. So spiritual one. So we are there. We are not made up of matter. So ourself, when I say I or you, we are referring to the soul. When I say that I did this, I am doing that, or you are doing this, how are you? All those things when we ask, this I, we, all those things. So basically, it is all referred to soul. Our, us, they, everything. We, all those things, they refer to the soul. So when we say in plural, we, they, it refers to the souls. And I, me, you, it refers to the soul. So that's what we need to understand. In this Bhagavad Gita, we are clearly understanding Krishna is asking us to realize this fact and then behave accordingly. Behave as per the knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita. So once we realize we are the soul, we are not the body, then our activities should be in that respect. It should not be like we are too much connected with the body, attached to the body. That's why Krishna is teaching Arjuna in the very beginning itself, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Wise men laments neither for the living nor for the dead. Gatasu nagatasumsa nanu sochanti pandita. So a pandita is a person, he doesn't lament for anything. Because pandita also a person who sees everything equally. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaga. Pandita will be able to see only the souls everywhere. He will see only the soul. So he cannot see the body. So that's why Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaga. So a Brahmana, a learned Brahmana, a cow, Gavi, Hastini, an elephant, Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, Suni Chaiva, Swapakecha, a dog and a dog eater. So Pandita Sama Darshinagam. A Pandita, a learned person will see with equal vision. So because he sees not only the soul in each and every body, the Pandita will also see the super soul sitting in everyone's body. Because Krishna is saying that I am seated in everyone's heart. So when we see in this world, we should be able to see the souls and super souls. Super soul, basically. Super soul in everyone's body. So then that means we are really seeing. Many places in Krishna, in slokas, he says that ya pasyati sa pasyati. Krishna says the word ya pasyati sa pasyati. Means one who sees like this is actually seeing. Ya pasyati sa pasyati. So if you are really seeing in this world, if you are really seeing, then we should see like that. We should see the soul everywhere. We should see Krishna everywhere. So if we do like that, then Krishna, we will be able to realize Krishna. We will be able to do everything in relationship with Krishna. And then we will, whatever we do, it will make sense. In this world, whatever activities we do, it makes perfect sense if we have the knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita. For example, if there is an electric wire and current is flowing, and a person who doesn't know, have any knowledge, he just goes and touches, then he will die. Whereas a person who has the knowledge, he will first check whether there is current flow in it or not, and then only you will take action. So like that, in this material world, we are struggling in this material body, and we need to realize, we need to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul, and we should be able to see the souls everywhere and act accordingly. So if we see the souls, then we won't be able to distinguish that is this country, this citizen, American, Indian, or we cannot distinguish because we see only the soul. So we cannot distinguish a person with respect to religion. If we apply, for some application or some forms, if we fill everything, they ask for the race, religion, all those things, everything, even sex, whether male or female, nothing matters for the soul. The soul has got that body, that's it. The soul has got a human body, and then the same soul, when he dies, and if he did not use this human life, if he doesn't use this human life very effectively, then there is no point in getting another human body. You can become a pig or any other body. So the main thing is Krishna is explaining that we are not the body, we are the soul, and we are keep changing the body. In this life itself, within this body itself, we are keep changing the body. And when we die also, we will get into another body. So that way, this we need to understand very clearly from Bhagavad Gita that the soul is transmigrating from bodies. So we are keep struggling inside this material body. And the whole purpose of this Bhagavad Gita is to realize and understand we are the soul and deliver ourselves and free ourselves from this material, these conditions, this conditioned life, this struggle. So we are struggling, we are suffering. So that's what we need to understand, we need to realize. So we cannot be in this world, we cannot think that everything I have, I'm happy, I have no problem, nothing like that. So that means that person is completely ignorant, has no knowledge. Because in this material world, nobody can be happy forever. That is the main thing. The happiness in this material world is only relative. It comes and goes, like Sitoshna, Sukha Dukkha. So happiness is like winter and summer seasons. So it both will come. So like that, happiness and distress will come. So, but if we are able to, relish, if you are able to experience, or if you are able to taste the spiritual happiness, the happiness which we get in our mind, because our mind is under is always under rest. So it is not disturbed. So our mind is connected with Krishna. So that way we will be able to enjoy unlimited happiness. Sukham akshayam asnute. So that's what we need to understand. This happiness in this material world is actually, it's not real happiness, but the real happiness is actually, we will get it in Krishna's way. We need to realize that we need to get out of this material body. There is this material body itself is not needed for the soul. The soul need not be conditioned inside this material body and suffer inside this material body. It's not needed. We need to take action. We need to take action with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So if we take action, then we will be able to get rid of this material condition. So that's how we need to use this human body, this human life. It should be used for this purpose, the purpose of relieving ourselves from this material bondage, from this karma bandha, janma bandha, this bondage to matter in this material world. Like there is we will study in chemistry and all bondings, chemical bonds. There are different bonds: ionic bond, covalent bond, this bond, hydrogen bond. A lot of bonds are there. So different atoms are connected through the bonds, and we call them as molecules. All such things. So like that, the soul is bonded. The soul is bonded to the matter. So the soul is attached to the matter. So when we break that bond, so that's what we study. Chemical energy can be converted into another energy by breaking. When we burn the fuel in our car, so basically we are burning it and we are breaking the bond and we are getting mechanical energy. So like that, here the soul is bonded to this matter, this material body, and at the time of death, these bonds are broken. And but again we will get into another body. So it is just as an analogy. We need to understand it's not really it's bonded. So it is the reality. The reality is that we are stuck inside this bond. So when in the bonds also, it need not be share electrons and all such things. It can be bonded due to attractions. So like that, the soul is attracted. The soul is covered inside this material body. So we need to release from this bondage. So that's what we need to understand. This Bhagavad Gita teaches us. So this bondage is known as karma bandham and janma bandham. This bondage is known as bondage to work, bondage to birth. So that's what in this material world we are bound to work and bound to take birth in this material body. So that is the bondage. So Krishna is asking us to get rid of this bondage and cut this bondage by the weapon of Krishna is saying that asanga sastra, the weapon of detachment. So that's why we need to get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to relieve ourselves. So first thing is that we need to know we are not the body, we are the soul. And in the last week we studied up to like 24 slokas. So Krishna was telling that from the sloka number 21 to 24 we studied everything. Krishna was explaining about the properties of the soul. The properties of the soul is Nainam chintanti sastrani, nainam dagati pavaka, nachainam kledayanti apo, nasosayati maruta. Just now I said it earlier. So the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be moistened by water. That means it cannot be dissolved by water, and it cannot be withered by wind. It cannot be dried by wind. So the same thing Krishna said in the next sloka, in the sloka number 22, in the second chapter, we studied it. It's not the 24, yeah, sloka number 24. So in the sloka number 24, Krishna is saying that Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo sosyayevacha nityaga sarvagataga stanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. So these are all the properties of the soul. Achedyoyam means unbreakable. The soul cannot be broken into pieces. Unbreakable. Achedyoyam. Adahyoyam means it cannot be burned. So it cannot be burned. Adahyoyam. Akledyo. So akledyo means it cannot be dissolved. It cannot be moistened. So that's what akledyo. Asosyam, that is insoluble. Akledyo. Asosya. Asosya means it cannot be withered. So it cannot be dried. So that's what asosya. Achedyoyam, adahyoyam, akledyo, asosya evacham. Nityaga sarvagataga stanugu achaloyam sanatana. So it is nityaga. It is nityaga means it is eternal. Sarvagataga, it's all pervading inside this body. Nityaga sarvagataga stanu. Stanuga means immovable. Achaloyam means immovable, unbreakable. So all those things. So nityaga sarvagataga stanugu achaloyam. So stanu means unchangeable. Achaloyam means immovable. So that's what the properties of the soul. So now Krishna is continuing in the next sloka, what we are studying in the sloka number 25. Krishna is continuing about the properties of the soul. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate nityaga sarv avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanu sochitum arhasi. That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Krishna is saying that avyaktoyam means it is unmanifested. It is not visible. That's what avyaktoyam. Avyakta means vyakta, avyakta we study. Avyakta means it's unmanifested, not visible. So the soul is not visible. Definitely it's not made up of matter. So anything what we can see, it has to reflect light. So light has to fall on it, and then again it should be reflected, and it should get into our eyes. Then only we can see. So the soul is invisible. Avyaktoyam. Achintyoyam. Achintyoyam means it's inconceivable. The soul we cannot achintyoyam. It's beyond our senses. So we cannot think, we cannot figure it out about the nature of the soul. So that's why avyaktoyam, achintyoyam, avikaryoyam. Avikaryoyam means unchangeable. So avyaktoyam, achintyoyam, avikaryoyam uchyade. So tasmad evam viditvainam nanu sochitam argasi. Therefore, after knowing this, there is no need for you to lament. That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna, because Arjuna was lamenting, Arjuna was crying. So he told Krishna that he will not fight, and his eyes were full of tears. Asrupurna kuleksham and soka samvigna manasaka. So he was full of sorrows. So he set aside his bow and arrows. Visijya sasaram chapam soka samvigna manasaka, and he was crying, and he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what is right and what is wrong. He didn't know whether to fight or not to fight, or whether to win or not to win, or to lose, whether to win or to lose. So he didn't know, he was not able to make any decisions because of his attachments, because he didn't see everyone as soul. He was seeing everyone as bodies. So that's what we also do in this material world. In our life, all the time we will see everyone as bodies. But everybody is a soul. It's not a body. So that's what we need to understand. Everybody has got a body, but that body is temporary. We keep changing bodies. And it is going to happen. It's going to happen to all of us also. So, but we need to understand that we are the soul. So that's why Krishna is saying that after knowing that the soul is unbreakable, Chedyoyam, and it cannot be burned. Chedyoyam, Adagyoyam, Akledyo, it is insoluble. Asosya, it cannot be dried. Nityaga, Sarvagataga, Stanugu, Achaloyam. So it is eternal, it is pervading, and it is immovable, and it is all such things. After knowing this, Avyaktoyam, Achintoyam, Avikaryoyam, Uchyadim. So it is invisible, it is inconceivable, it is unchangeable. After knowing all these things, Tasmad evam viditvainam. So after knowing all these things, nainam sochitam argasi. There is no need for you to lament. Why are you lamenting? There is no need to lament, because the soul is always there. Nobody can do anything to the soul. The soul is always there. Only we keep changing. We are changing the bodies. That is the main thing. That's what Krishna is saying. But in the next sloka, Krishna says one thing to Arjuna, because sometimes people will not even believe that there is soul. So even though Krishna is saying, we need to understand that whatever Krishna says is final for us. That is the main. So whatever Krishna says is final. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that, like very often I quote that sloka, Teme matham idam nityam anudhistanti manava. So these are my instructions, and anyone who follows this with faith, Sraddhavanto anasuyanto, with faith and without envy. So Sraddhavanto anasuyanto, muchyante tepi karmabhi. So they will be relieved from all reactions of our activities, everything. We will be freed from this material world. So that is Krishna is saying very clearly. So, but here in this sloka, in the 26th sloka, Krishna is telling Arjuna, I'm telling you all these things, that we are not the body, we are the soul, and the soul is actually, it's always there, and it cannot be broken into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be burned by fire. The soul is all the time there. I'm telling you. But if you don't believe it, if you don't believe what I am saying, if you think that the soul is just born and then dies forever, if you think like that, there is Krishna is saying that. Krishna is not saying like that. We cannot say, oh, Krishna himself is saying like that, so that means the soul is born once and dies forever. We cannot say. Krishna is saying very clearly, Atachainam nityajatam manyase. Atachainam nityajatam nityam va manyase mritam. Atachainam nityajatam nityam va manyase mritam. Tatapitvam mahabaho nainam sochitum arhasi. That's what Krishna is saying. So if you think, I'm telling you very clearly that the soul is always there. There is no birth, no death for the soul. Soul is always there. But if you don't want to believe me, if you think that the soul only born once and then dies forever, then also, so that means if you think that there is no soul, that's what that means. There is no soul. Atachainam nityajatam nityam va manye. We just like the modern science today. So the scientists, science, they say that there is no soul because they cannot see the soul. They cannot experience. They cannot, because the soul is beyond the senses. We study in the science without space. We cannot study anything without space. 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional space, multi-dimensional, all such things. We do so much. All the entire mathematics. Without space, there is no mathematics. Without space, there is no physics. There is no science without space. We agree, we believe. Everyone believes that there is space. But who has seen the space? Who can see the space? Can we see the space? Can we smell the space? Or can we taste the space? Can we feel anything with our senses? With our senses, can we feel the space? But everyone agrees. Everyone believes that there is no space. If anyone says that just because I am not seeing, there is no space, so that is idiotic. So similarly, the soul also nobody can see it. But if we simply say that, oh, I have not seen the soul, I cannot, so I won't believe it, means it's up to you. It's up to that person. So he is just losing. That's it. So if we understand that, if we believe in space, we do so much. So like that, if we believe in soul, we will do so much. We'll make a lot of progress. So that is the main thing. But here Krishna is telling Arjuna that if you don't believe me, if you think that you are just taking birth once and then die forever, atachainam nityajatam nityam va manyase, then also what is the need for you to lament? Then also there is no point in lamenting. So that's what. Of course, Arjuna didn't think about that. Arjuna already told in the first chapter itself to Krishna that narake niyatam vaso bhavati iti anususrama utsanna kula dharmana manushyanam janadana, those who are the cause for the destruction of the family tradition, they will go and live in Naraka forever, like that and all. Arjuna was telling Krishna. So Arjuna believes that there is a soul and we will be there is life after death. So, but here Krishna is telling all these things because there are people in this world, they don't want to accept, they don't want to believe. So here Krishna is telling to Arjuna, if you don't believe, if you don't accept, still there is no need to lament. That's what Krishna is saying. But we cannot take it that, oh, Krishna himself said like that we cannot take it. So in the next sloka, in fact, this is a very nice sloka, the law of birth and death. That's what. In Bhagavad Gita itself, there are many laws are there. The law of action is there. The law of karma, there is the law of action. Each and every action has got an equal and similar reaction. We know that Newton's law of motion, each and every action has got equal and opposite reaction. Here in this material world, whatever we do, we get the same reaction. Each and every action has got equal and similar reaction. If we do good, we'll get good reactions. If you do bad, we'll get bad reaction. So like that here, the law of birth and death. What is the law of birth and death? When a person is born, he is due to die. So similarly, when a person dies, is due to born again. So we know that when we are born, we are going to die. So that is perfect. We agree that. We understand that. So then what is the difficulty in understanding that when a person dies, he will born again? So what is the difficulty in believing in reincarnation? So it's very clear. So that's why Krishna is teaching us that Jatasya ki dhruvo mrityu dhruvam janma mrittasya tasmat apariharye arte natvam sochitum argasi. Therefore, in this unavoidable duty, apariharyam arte. So you cannot get out of this battle. Arjuna didn't have any option. We already discussed that at length in the first chapter. Arjuna didn't have any option to get out of the battle. So that's why Krishna is saying that apariharya. Apariharya means no pariharam. There is no other way. There is no other means for you to get out of this battle. So this is unavoidable. So apariharya arte natvam sochitam argasi. There is no need for you to lament. Natvam sochitam argasi. That's what Krishna is saying. So in the last 3 slokas, if we consider, in each and every sloka, the last line, Krishna is saying that natvam sochitam argasi, nainam sochitam argasi. That's what Krishna is saying there. So in the sloka number 25, we studied that tasma devam viditvainam nanu sochitam argasi. After knowing this, there is no need for you to lament. Then in the next sloka, tatapitva mahabhaho nainam sochitam argasi. So that's what Krishna is saying there. In the next sloka also, natvam sochitam argasi. Jatasya ki dhruvo mrityu dhruvam janma mrittasya cha tasmat apariharyate natvam sochitam argasi. So repeatedly in all these three slokas, Krishna is telling the same thing to Arjuna, that there is no need for you to lament. Now next is sloka. In fact, I want to spend more time on this sloka, but today I may not be able to do because we are already late. But next week when I start, I will spend more time, because this sloka in the 8th chapter we are going to study at length this sloka. So 8th chapter Krishna is going to explain a lot about this. But here we need to just understand the vocabulary, the meaning. That's very important. Anything, any subject, any science, when you study, we need to know the vocabulary. Otherwise, we cannot understand. So here, Krishna is teaching in the next sloka, in the sloka number 28, Krishna is teaching that Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidanani eva tatra ka paridevana. Avyaktadini bhutani. Adini means in the beginning. Avyakta. What did I say? Avyakta. In the previous slokas we studied it. Avyaktoyam, achintoyam, avikaryoyam uchyate. Avyakto means invisible. So it means unmanifested. So unmanifested means here Avyakta means the soul didn't have any body. So the soul didn't have any body in the beginning. That's why Avyaktadini bhutani. Bhutani means the living entities. The living entities didn't have any body in the beginning. So Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. Vyakta means manifesting. Avyakta means unmanifested. So Vyakta, in between, in middle, in between. Vyakta madhyani. Madhyani means in between. Vyakta madhyani bharata. In between the soul gets the body. So Avyaktadini bhutani. In the beginning we didn't have body. The soul didn't have body. And in between the soul gets the body. Vyakta madhyani bharata. Avyakta nidanani eva. Similarly, at the end, the soul will not have body. The body will be destroyed. So there won't be any body. So that's what we need to understand, that we are not having body all the time. Body, we get it and then we lose it. Then we get it, body, another body, and then we will lose it. So that's what is happening. That is a repeated cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death for the body. So that's why Krishna is saying that Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidanani eva tatraka paridevana. So then what is the need for you to worry? Tatraka paridevana. So what is the need for you to worry? That's what Krishna is asking Arjuna. So as I mentioned in the 8th chapter, Krishna is explaining about what is that Avyakta. Sagasra yuga paryantam ahara brahmano vidugu. Like that, Krishna is saying that about Brahma's day and night. Then Avyakta vyaktayaga sarvaga prabhavanti aharagame ratriyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samjnakhe bhutagamaga sayevayam bhutva praliyate. So like that, Krishna will teach a lot of things for us in the 8th chapter. So Avyakta and Vyakta. So it all depends upon Brahma's day and night. So during Brahma's night, we will not have any body. The soul will not have any body at all. So during Brahma's night, during Brahma's day, we will have body. So Brahma's day, there is 12 hours of Brahma is equal to Sagasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Vidu. So Sagasra Yuga means 1000 yugas of in this material world is equal to 1 day, Ahar. Sagasra Yuga Paryantam, so 1 day for Brahma. So that is equivalent to, it will come like one yuga itself, one Mahayuga itself is got like 432,000 years is one Kali Yuga. So multiply it by 10, so that will become one Mahayuga. Now one Mahayuga. Yeah, so that will be 4.3 million years. So you multiply 432,000 years by 10, you will get 4.3 million years. So then again you multiply it by 1,000. So that is Sagasra Yuga. So that means 4.3 billion years. So 4.3 billion years is equal to 1 day for Brahma. So during 4.3 billion years, 4.32 billion years, we will have bodies. That means we'll keep changing the bodies. Then another 4.32 billion years, we will not have any body. So that's what Avyaktat Vyaktayaga Sarvaha Prabhavanti Aharagame. When Aharagame, when the day comes, we will avyaktat vyaktayaga. From unmanifested to manifested state we will come. Avyaktat vyaktayaga sarvaga prabhavanti agaragame ratri agame praliyante. When ratri comes, when night comes, when Brahma's night comes, then praliyante, everything will be destroyed. So tatraiva vyakta samjnake. So we'll again get into unmanifested state. Everything means everything matter will be destroyed. There is no material world. So at that time we'll get into unmanifested status. So that's what Krishna is referring here. Avyakta nini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidanani eva tatra ka paridevana. So by Krishna's costless mercy, we are making great progress. And since we have so much faith on Krishna and this Bhagavad Gita, that's why we are able to make steady progress every week. So we finished now 28 slokas in the second chapter, which has got 72 slokas. So still a lot more to cover in this second chapter. So this is contents of the Gita summarized. So if we study and understand this second chapter fully, so we understand as far as Krishna is concerned, we understand the entire Bhagavad Gita if we understand this. But Arjuna asks from that time onwards, starting from the third chapter, first sloka, Arjuna keeps on asking questions. That's why we had another 16 chapters. So I'll stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.